Hello everybody, we're picking up where we left off last time. Endeavor looking down to the body that had been sent flying across. He looks down to this charred, explosion-ridden body of the special, spy that had been sent out. He says, "Doesn't look like he's going to survive. Whatever. But whoever sent him as far as they did must have some serious firepower." His eyebrow perks up as he starts to make his way inside, slowly opening up the door as it swings to the right. Deku treating, Toga's wounds, and Bakugo standing above. Endeavor readies a flame ball in his hands as Deku says, "No, stop! He's okay. He's become good somehow. I don't know how, but he just has." He says, "You seriously don't remember?" Deku says, What are you talking about?" Endeavor says, "You really are. Really just that stupid, Deku. Come on. He was the one shadow that wasn't attacking. After you had saved him. Don't you remember? Oh, I see. You thought he was invisible." Deku says, "What are you talking about?" He says that under all of the rubble, when you were clearing a path for yourself, well, he was released. I didn't think you were that stupid to not see him. You saved his life. And after all that they've done for you, he considered his debt repaid clearly. That's why he's turned blue and, well, is helping us. Quite nice." He stands above Bakugo, Endeavor being a towering 7 foot, just over these two students. Toga gets herself up as she picks out her knife. She actually asks, sorry, the voices. "Hey, where did my knife go?" Endeavor says, "It should be still on his corpse," until he opens up the door. It swings to the right, hitting one of the shadows off their guard. I think the Mineta shadow, actually, that had turned blue long ago. As he falls onto his ass, the agent with a twisted backward arm and also a spine crooked looks up with his cracked glasses and, red convulsing eyes and says, "You thought it'd be that easy, eh? Oh, whatever." Both Endeavor and also Bakugo, the Shadow Bakugo, look up to, meet the eyes of the special agent, both readying up gigantic explosions just for him. However, Deku says, "Stop! Wait. He isn't the one that gave me the pill. He's just an assassin." He says, "Don't you dare even think about underestimating me." He starts to fix his broken arm. However, is then tackled by Mineta from behind, who promptly places a ball right between his arms, locking him in place. They set him up on a chair in the middle of the room as he was knocked out before. He wakes back up, as they say, Endeavor lights up his face in the darkness, only showing his mask. And also his body, the outlines. He says, "So who do you work for?" Playing sort of bad cop. And then Bakugo just sort of staying silent, but exploding stuff in his hands, trying to look threatening. However, it's not really threatening for something that just can't talk. So, Deku's like, "I'll go in for Bakugo." Bakugo just acknowledges and leaves. Deku's like, hey, you just tell us what you were trying to do." "I was trying to kill Toga, is that right? Is that what you wanted?" As then he shuffles around in the thing, trying to get out of the cuffs. And then he's like, "You see, it doesn't even make any sense to hold me in these cuffs." "Why would that be?" He says, he breaks his arm in half. And breaks his what would you call it, wrist, and breaks out of the cuffs, basically. And just holds out his arms and twinkles them in front of Deku. He then aims a punch straight for Deku's face. However, it's blocked by Endeavor, as Endeavor's like, "You shouldn't have did that." As then he lights up his hand, like setting his right arm on fire, and then it's put out by Deku with just a flick of air. He says, fine. They called me Zombie Joe. I used to be the top 7 hero. However, after, less than uncanny circumstances, I was forced to become like this. I was a subject. And then, you know what's happened to me. I became a tool for the guy that gave you the pill. Is that what you wanted to hear? Yes, it was. Thank you, Zombie Joe. Please, don't call me that. It's a pretty embarrassing nickname. Deku looks over to Bakugo as Bakugo just gives him a thumbs up, and they basically let him get up without the wrist guards. Endeavor is like, I still don't trust him, breathing out smoke from his nose. However, he says his only power is to have invulnerability and regeneration. He doesn't have much for an assassination techniques. Our real enemy right now is trying to figure out how to survive and get up to the surface. Endeavor says, that'll be easy. With the power of all the shadows outside, we should be able to get out of here in no time, as long as you can turn them blue, right? Well, to turn them blue, I have to either make them stand next to Toga and converse with her and become good for almost, 3 days? Toga nods. He says, right. Or save their lives. Well, I'll give you this. How about I set them on fire, and then no, we're not gonna do that. He says, you're no fun, Deku. Well, I don't know what the fuck to do then. Deku's like, how about this? We combine all of them together, forcefully. And then, Toga and me can handle them together. Sounds like a plan. Good. Now, as they start to exit the parlor, all 3 of them sort of in a formation with the zombie guy lagging behind, but with the Bakugo right next to Deku. In a sort of epic fashion, I guess. All of the shadows are gone, however. It was an underground silent, echoes throughout the whole place of the underground campus. Endeavor starts to freak out. After all, those things were hard as nails to kill. They haven't hurt any of the people, but they were just gone. He yells at Bakugo to go find them. However, Bakugo's like, huh? He's like, what do you mean? Do something, you little shit. He's like, buddy, he ain't your son, okay? He's like, shut up, Deku. You lost your quirk. At least this guy can be useful. I haven't lost all of it, Endeavor, as he pushes Endeavor back. This whole fight starts. However, Toga stops it and then says, shh, listen. A gigantic pile of dust starts to collect over them as the whole underground starts to rumble and shake. Just gigantic piles of dust start to sprout up everywhere, falling from the ceiling. Rocks start to rumble and fall from the ceiling as it starts to start cave-ins. And then one final gigantic just explosion happens from the ceiling. Everybody taking cover behind a flame wall provided by Endeavor. As the dust clears and everybody gets their vision back, a gigantic foot is all that's seen. A dark, maniacal foot. It all shapeshifts back into not the whole group of 1A. It's all excluding Ojiro, Mineta, and Bakugo. But everybody is right there. And that includes the darkness. He says, come on, hero! What are you gonna do? Come on, didn't you say you wanted to leave? I'm offering you a way out! The darkness starts to retreat back out into the light, back into the city. Endeavor starts to pick up all the citizens as he tells, "You guys go ahead. I'll take care of the citizens." "Are you sure?" "I've never been one for the sidelines, however. I'll do this just once. 'Cause you saved me. But that's it." Deku acknowledges this and starts to head up to the ceiling with all the shadows and Toga behind him. They walk throughout the city, finding it all destroyed, flattened even. He doesn't even know how the shadows are hiding from them currently. However, he looks to his left to see a field full of tanks and other scrap metals. It was covered with bodies of soldiers and different things. Almost 1,000 soldiers in that field alone. The shadows start to rise from all of the bodies. All these shadows stare at Deku and his team. Oh, it's all so funny, Deku. What do you mean, Darkness? Please, please. It's so funny to just fight with you, actually. The fact that you're going to die here makes me almost sad. But first you'll need to lose what I most treasure, isn't that right? You'll never get Toga. No, Deku, no. You're going to lose more than just that. To remind you of what has happened to you, I'm going to have to take something even more. Your mother at home, you remember her, right? I am going to break myself, plus you. We'll be the ultimate pair. Show yourself, coward! Calm down, Deku. I don't care anymore. This motherfucker's talking about killing my mother. You tell me to calm down? Even Bakugo's like, chill. He's just like, stop hiding behind all of these soldiers. He's like, hiding? You think I'm hiding? What do you think I am right now? I'm off fighting the war. He hears explosions in the distance. He just remembers this. And then one gigantic explosion, a nuclear bomb set off in the distance. He was fighting a whole war without Deku being there. Suddenly, this Ida boosted up on just all of these speed boosts. All of this different stuff has been collecting speed this whole entire time, and sits there in front with a whole nuclear bomb in his hands. Ida just stares blankly into Deku's eyes. This nuclear bomb is almost 4 times the size of Ida himself. However, he's holding it on his back somehow. All of the shadows start to converge outside of Ida as all of them show up, and then the darkness starts to spread around him, consuming all of them as they all start to collect him into him. As he says, now this, he starts to gradually create and coagulate into this gigantic being of darkness, collecting all of the souls that were on that battlefield, all of 1A. And this nuclear bomb, he picks it up with Ida inside as he eats Ida and grabs the nuclear bomb before it hits the ground. He now towered almost 200 feet up in the air. It's so good to just feel out a new body, you know what I mean? Now, let us see that true despair that we were talking about. Deku just stares, bewildered. How the fuck? Even Bakugo's starting to, get knocked out of his blue and starting to turn to the original black. However, Toga holds on to Bakugo, and Bakugo kind of puts his hand on her arms. She doesn't want to stare as she's holding herself behind Bakugo and sort of crying. However, Deku looks down to see a scarf. A shadow that collects under it. There were 2 heroes that had gone into the city. These 2 heroes were Endeavor and Eraserhead. One made it out alive that day. Deku kneels down and picks up the scarf. Was this your doing, Darkness? What was? His voice booms across the whole, mountain range. I mean, he was enough that the top of his horns were touching the sky. I can't even see you from up here. How would I know what you're talking about? As Deku holds it up and says, "Don't you lie to me! You know this! You know what happened! Don't lie!" No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. He wasn't supposed to die. As he starts to shrink farther and farther down. He becomes smaller and smaller. This once massive beast that would be able to wipe out mountain range in one hit starts to deform. Deku, now at eye length with him, eye height, he puts his arm on his shoulder. Do you understand what has happened? Do you understand what you have done? Deku. What? What do you want now, Darkness? You've broken me! You've gotten what you wanted! Now what? I ask you, now what? Deku has become almost feral. He's spitting everywhere. He's unable to control his muscles, nor is he able to control his emotions. Toga just stands behind Bakugo, scared and afraid, as Bakugo is now solitary, unable to move at all. It seemed like stone had formed over Bakugo's whole body, and the darkness continued to shrink all the way down to Deku's level, as Deku just releases a barrage of attacks, but more just pity hits. He hadn't even seen how he had died. Do you know how much that hurts? Do you know how much? Darkness holds his hands behind him. It collects his hands around Deku's neck. Lifts his head to see the darkness's eyes. The darkness says, I know it well. This isn't how it was supposed to go. This wasn't how any of it. Well, it's gone like this! Okay? I don't know what I am anymore. The darkness welcomes it into his arms. Toga, gets up and says, "No, Deku, stop! You have me! You have everybody else! I've lost my one father figure. The one person that would hold me. The person that understood my pain. And all of it. And now he's dead." Deku, his energy starts to collect back into the darkness. This combining... No, not combining. No. They were not two separate forces. They had become one. The darkness had gotten what it wanted. Deku had become darkness. He had lost his last string. Not the one he thought he was going to lose. Not the one the darkness wanted to lose, but the one that he had never known it would hit him so hard. He was hit by Sensei all the time for his idioticness, for being too angsty at the time, for looking too much down on himself, for letting it get to him. He was also taught by him everything he knows. Every single part of his life was demanded to be perfected by him. He had loved it. He had shown him how to be better, how to be a numeral person, how to be that man that everybody wanted him to be. And now he was going to be nothing but absolved into darkness. Is this really what he wanted? Deku! Toga shouts as she dives into the darkness and grabs onto Deku's hand. She says, "Is this what he'd want?" "This is all I have left." "This is all you have left? You gotta be kidding me. You have me! Okay? You have your mom. They'll all die too. Don't you understand? Darkness will consume everything. You might as well." "I will not accept it! Not until the day I die. I will not accept it." The darkness slowly sleeping into her lungs. He says, "But you'll just die too. How about a promise?" He remembers back to the time that they had first met. He promised to keep her safe. He promised to always love her. "I promise to always love you. I will keep myself safe. For God's sakes, come back to me. Don't you do this. Don't you do this to everyone. You may not know it, but you are the last cord to everyone. If you snap, everyone gives up. The darkness will consume everybody, not just you." Deku looks back to Toga's eyes, seeing the hopefulness that he had long lost. He lets go. Finally, his eyes readjust back to the light of the day as darkness starts to let go of him. It was like the darkness had let him go in and out. It didn't care anymore. So that's how it'll be then. Well then, I guess I'll always be here if you need coddling. Ta-ta, Deku. For now. He starts to wither away as all of the stone statues of his friends lay there dormant. Toga hugs onto him so hard as she's continuously crying. Deku just resting his head on her shoulder. He smiles. No, he grins. For the life of him, he grins. He's happy with where he is. He has people. And if he was to give up, then everyone loses. All the shadows crack as he had once touched the forehead of Toga, making her anew, giving her life again. All of the shadows, their stone starts to crack, and what's revealed is actual human skin. They start to reveal people, the armies, the soldiers, they're people again. Bakugo is revived back to reality. Everybody, Momo, everybody. It's incredible. Look at it, Deku. Toga, as they all join in for one last hug. But what about Edo Tensei? Deku sits in the middle of the squad. Squatting down, holding onto the scarf. She says, "Well, every loss cannot be regained, nor can some of us ever accept it. But all we can do is live out our lives the best we can. even if that has to be accepting their deaths. She brings him back up to his feet as they all are happy. They all are in a group, staring into the middle as they all join in for a group hug. Aw, isn't that nice and beautiful? All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. This was a grand journey. I might actually do a season 2 because I think that Deku's quirk actually now is more about reviving people. But other than that, I'll be seeing you guys next time. Goodbye.